always ready to help our friends in their time of need. When they have issues or challenges, they often turn to us for help or guidance. You have a relationship with this friend, and you're always willing to give them support. But what about building a supportive relationship with yourself to help you thrive as a single woman? Hi, my name is Susan, and welcome to my channel where we'll talk about all things related to getting older. If you found yourself solo in midlife, as I did, it means you're spending more time alone with yourself, and this alone time is very important and it's valuable for enabling you to grow and thrive and not become defeated and struggle. So just as you would show understanding and compassion to a friend, show understanding and compassion to yourself. Be kind to yourself as you would a friend going through a rough time. So how do we reconnect with ourselves so we can thrive at this midlife point of life and live a richer and more meaningful life? Today I'm sharing 6 ways to help you thrive. Number 1 is rediscovering your identity. Take time to get to know yourself better. Find out what interests you. You know, things that interested you when you were in your 30s or even 40s may not interest you now. However, you may have had a dream when you were younger for pursuing something special that you didn't have the time for, or maybe you didn't have the money for, or life kind of got in the way. Things like travel or starting a new business, something along those lines that you just couldn't do when you were younger, and now you have the time and possibly the money to do those things. See this next chapter as an opportunity to grow, because it's all about growing and thriving. Taking time for self-care is so important because it's not just for your mental well-being, it's also for your physical and emotional well-being. And don't allow yourself to feel guilty for taking time for yourself. You know, maybe you want to just lounge around all day in comfortable clothes, and I especially love doing this on like cloudy or rainy days. You just want to stay home and get comfortable. You might even want to take a long, hot bubble bath and listen to some soothing music. You want to remember to nourish your body also. You want to make meals that are healthy and high protein, because protein is really important as we get older. We actually need more protein now that we're getting older. You could cook in batches, large quantities of like soups and stews, and then freeze the rest if you enjoy cooking, but just make sure that they're healthy, because you want to eat healthy foods and avoid processed foods as much as you can. And don't forget to stay hydrated, because that's also really important. To stay hydrated throughout the day, make sure you drink plenty of water, and try to enjoy relaxing things throughout the day, like knitting or quilting, you know, whatever you enjoy doing. Even, of course, reading is great. And taking walks in nature is a great de-stressor. And just take your time and enjoy the peace and quiet. And the third is to get in touch with your feminine side. Tap into your feminine energy. From the time you start your day in the morning, start it at a slower pace. How do you want to feel, and how will it make you happy today? I mean, sure, we have things to do from time to time. We have errands to run, appointments to go to, but you also need to take time to just take your day slowly and find out how this day will make you happy. Make your home a pretty space. Keep clutter out of your home as much as possible. You know, clutter is very stressful, and having just piles of stuff around your home, it's not relaxing, it's not tapping into your feminine energy, and it's just a real stress builder. So try to declutter your space as much as you possibly can and organize your space to make it a more relaxing place. You know, you could arrange some flowers, you could light some candles, and then at night, when you're starting to wind down, turn the lights down a little bit and start to get into the nighttime mode and slow down a little bit, especially if you've had a day where you might be doing a lot of errands and running around. You need to just slow down, take deep breaths, and just try and focus more on yourself and give yourself a slower pace to slow your day down. And the fourth is don't chase external validation. You know, we don't want to live our lives seeking praise and approval from other people. And we don't want to rely on other people to make us feel better about ourselves. I mean, this one might be a little tricky because I think sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it. We might say something about maybe our age, expecting someone to say something like, oh, you look great for your age or whatever. It's nice to get a compliment, but don't make this something that you kind of rely on all the time. Doing things because you enjoy doing them is really the validation that you need. And you can only really get that from yourself, truly. Do things that are really meaningful to you and do it for the right reasons. Because sometimes you might even feel like you're doing something just to get the approval of someone else. And that's really not a healthy way to live. So just remember to be yourself and be true to yourself and your feelings and do things just because they make you feel fulfilled and happy and you just have a true joy of doing them. And number 5 is to accept that your body is changing. You know, this is a really hard one for me because I do a lot of physical work, but I can tell that my body is changing and it's trying to tell me just to slow down, try to take it a little easy. I'm not 30 anymore or even 40. You know, I get the aches and pains and I get tired easily. But what we really need to do is to accept that we're getting older and we can't still do all the things that we could do when we were younger. Realize that your body is changing and you need to adapt to the change. If you've always loved yoga, for example, but your back is starting to bother you or your knees are starting to bother you, then try chair yoga. You know, you need to just adapt your physical activity to a better way for your body. It can be hard to adapt. Sometimes, you know, we can be kind of stubborn and not accept the fact that we're getting older and we need to just kind of take it easy or not do as much as we used to do, but this could lead to injury and of course that's not going to be a good thing. So you need to listen to your body and you need to understand that yes, you're getting older and some things need to change. And number 6 is to learn to be your own best friend. Learn to enjoy hanging out with yourself and loving it. To nurture your inner friendship with yourself. And that way you don't have to rely on someone else for your happiness or feeling fulfilled. And be aware of how you talk to yourself. Self-talk is very important. And it really works on our minds if we have too much negative self-talk. Because the more you hear it, the more you'll start to believe it. And that's just negativity, and you really don't want that. So try to start talking to yourself in positive ways. Talk to yourself out loud so you can hear the words in a positive way. So learning to be your best friend will help you to thrive as a solo woman. And I hope these ideas have helped you. They've certainly helped me learn to enjoy being on my own and to thrive as a solo woman. And let me know in the comments. Share some of your thoughts that you might have. If you have some other ideas, let us all know and share it with us. So thanks for listening today, and I'll see you next week.